name is Jerrell Walker. I'm with the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. I want to welcome everybody out to this press conference today around the shooting of a 17-year-old that happened on Wednesday by the St. Petersburg Police Department. And we're going to be making a statement about that in a minute. And then I'm going to call up attorney like Malcolm, who's going to be talking about some of the legal issues that may be involved in this case and part of the investigation that we're carrying out. And then Jamie Simpson from the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, he'll be speaking after like Malcolm. So I want to make this statement now. On Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, an unidentified member of the St. Petersburg Colonial Police shot a 17-year-old African child. The child suffered life-threatening injuries from the shot to the stomach. We know the identity of the child, but will not use his name here. In many ways, his name could be Tyron Lewis, George Floyd, Marquell McCullough, Jerrell Walker, Javon Dawson, Palmer Saunders. These are just some of the names of the litany of African young people murdered by the St. Petersburg Police. On Wednesday, Colonial Police attempted to add one more victim to the terrorist history. There's never been a terrorist cop charged with killing an African in the city of St. Petersburg, let alone convicted. The reason for these murders happening in the African community with impunity is because we are colonized people. We have no political power. We have no power to feed, clothe, and shelter our own people. We were brought here to work for free and build a white colonial capitalist system at the expense of our lives and the lives of the native people. Colonial capitalism was truly born parasitic and continues to suck the blood of the people of the African community through police murders of black people, gentrification, imposed poverty, and unemployment and underemployment. Based on all these factors, we are making the following demands for our oppressed people. We want the cop who shot the African youth Wednesday to be fired and charged with attempted murder. Reparations from the city of St. Petersburg to the family of the brother who was shot on Wednesday and to the entire African community. We demand a public policy of economic development and an end to police containment. We demand black community control of the police in our community. We demand the right to hire, fire, and discipline the cops that work in the black community. Ironically, we are only 2 days away from the tragic 25th anniversary of the murder of 18-year-old Tyron Lewis by St. Petersburg Police. It is fitting that we will be having the Tyron Lewis Lives rally on Sunday, October 24th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. at the corner of Tyron Lewis Avenue, sometimes known as 18th Avenue and 16th Street South. All those who want to help recognize the impact that the murder of Tyron Lewis had on the black community are asked to come out. Black community control of the police, jail the killer cops, and reparations now.
Uhuru. My name is Life Malcolm. I'm a criminal defense attorney based in Tampa Bay. Most importantly though, I'm a member of the African People's Socialist Party and I'm an African internationalist. I don't think like many of these other attorneys who bear the title of Esquire. My first occupation is that of an African revolutionary. And so we're here today to dispute definitely with definite statements that the colonial media so far, when they claim that this cop who shot this young 17-year-old boy did not have a choice, we dispute that definitively. Even though we don't know the facts, we know one thing for sure. Every day, people wake up with a chance and a choice. That cop had the choice. St. Petersburg Police Department, in the city of St. Petersburg, rather, has a $153 million budget, and the St. Pete Police get most of it. You understand what I'm saying? That's public safety budget for St. Petersburg Police, and the St. Petersburg Police get most of it. They have enough resources that this cop had a chance and a choice. There's nothing in the facts so far that suggests that there were exigent circumstances that warranted this cop chasing down the 17-year-old young man and cornering him and shooting him, severely injuring him, leaving him in critical condition. We also want to make it clear that because, as Comrade Chimarenga said, there's been no convictions, let alone charges, of colonial cops who've killed and shot African people in the city of St. Petersburg. We know that this pattern is likely to continue. We know that the colonial cops do not have the ability to criticize themselves, do not have the ability to conduct an investigation that's satisfactory to the African community. So the African People's Socialist Party will be conducting our own independent investigation. We can't say much more about it right now, but we want you to know, African people, we want you to know that we can win when we organize. Right now, at the Uhuru House, there are plans to hold the Tyron Lewis Lives rally. We want to make sure that you come out to that rally and join us so that we can organize for Black community control of the police. Right now, this brutal shooting is a prime example of the need for Black community control of the police. We need to control the narrative of what goes on in our community, and we will jump in right away and conduct our own independent investigation to bring you the real answers as best we can. Uhuru.
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 My name is Jamie Simpson. Thank you, Director Chimarenga. I am a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement is an organization of mostly white people founded by the African People's Socialist Party, and our mission is to demand reparations and call on other white people to take this stand of solidarity with the African community and a stance of reparations. I want to say that as a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement unites unconditionally with the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement and the African People's Socialist Party's demands, particularly this demand that reparations be paid to the family of this young African man that was critically shot by the St. Petersburg police, that the entire African community be paid reparations, and that we demand, along with the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, we demand an end to this vicious policy of police containment and the beginning of genuine economic development for the African community, or the Black community here in St. Petersburg, which, as we saw this past Wednesday with this shooting, has no rights under this current system, is pushed out of their communities, has to face cruel, grueling poverty and the loss of life, injury at the hands of the colonial St. Petersburg police or white vigilantes. This has got to end. This is something also, it must be said, that this kind of violence against African people happens in our white names. It happens in the name of the white community to protect the relationship, the oppressive colonial relationship that has existed between African people and white people since the founding of this city and has only gotten worse. Gentrification is on steroids in this community, and if other white people are hearing this message and you support the Black community, I call on you to take a stand for reparations. Reparations is the only legitimate response that we can have to this kind of police violence. A call for genuine restitution, genuine social justice, genuine economic development, and that comes in the form of reparations. We are absolutely unequivocal in our condemnation of this act of violence by the St. Petersburg Police Department, and fully unite, along with the call for reparations and economic development, that the cop, the police officer, the colonial enforcer who shot this young man be fired and charged with attempted murder. Thank you so much. Uhuru.
This brother's reputation, his life is already under attack by the media, as usual, starting to talk about his record and how he was in contact with the police. But every African has been in contact with the police since we got here, since we were brought here as slaves to work for free and build a white colonial capitalist country. So do we believe these lies that are being told by Bob Galtieri, who is the sheriff of Pinellas County? Absolutely not. That's why we created our own investigation, because African people should be aware, and anybody who believes in justice, that you can't trust these people. These are the same people that killed 3 black girls in 2018, forced them into a pond and they drowned and said they couldn't do anything about it. These are the same people who've killed numbers of African people and never even been charged, let alone convicted. So I want to appreciate the media for coming out, and we're going to close the press conference at this time. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru.